So you can hear me? On button. Got it. It's just the on button. So my claim to fame is that I taught Mike Wiegand, who was the UAV Predator talk earlier. And these are two of my other students at the Military Academy, Nate Grunzweig and David Brasefield. And they're going to talk about honeyM, which is a framework for virtual mobile honey clients. But just to reinforce it after Mike's presentation, if you don't know what's up there, it's actually a picture of the cells at Fort Leavenworth where the prisoners go after they get in trouble. So none of the statements I make here are statements of the Military Academy, and none of them are on behalf of the United States government or its agencies.
Okay, so we all have our mobile devices, smartphones, everything, and you store a lot of information on those nowadays. Everything about your Facebook account to who you've been with the night before, who you were talking to, say, the ex-girlfriend of Mike, who he is monitoring with the UAV. Well, and we don't give these things any protection at all. We really don't have the basic protection that is now expected in normal computers. But, of course, it could be worse. Credit card systems. Should we really be doing this on a mobile phone? The main design constraint is to keep the Bluetooth radio on there under $2. And so, say when you rely on this exclusively, you might have some issues. When there's a big release, maybe, if you decide to jam the entire wireless spectrum, could be some issues there. But there's other uses too. Like, next one we've got.
Okay, so the medical community is being helped out by wireless, heart rate monitors, respirators, general patient data. But should this stuff really rely on a framework built on low cost as opposed to security? What if this guy shows up? Wireless sniper rifle. Could he really denial of service an entire floor of nurses that are already overworked? Another modification for sniper rifles. An application for windage. Seems like a good idea at first. Here we have our sniper B4 L2 cap. Very, very well hidden, very difficult to see. Now there's the L2 cap echo request. Yes, I am right here. Thank you for asking.
And so there's a lot of devices out there, but no one really cares until their phone gets owned. And we've had that happen a couple times in the past, whether it be the blue bogging attacks from several years ago to Haffey's recent work where he exploited the iPhones via the SDP, or just device driver fuzzing, which is just the coolest thing in the entire world, that results in things like the Broadcom Wi-Fi driver attacks. When I see mobile devices, I see targets. These things, there's so many vectors or ways that you can attack them, and you can culminate those. You can put those together to make the attack even greater. These things rely on a quick rush to market, and they rely on being quickly subsidized and at a low cost. And it's unlikely my mother will ever update her firmware software on a phone once she gets it. And one thing we're not going to even talk about when we talk about mobile devices today, but netbooks. The goal is that these things cost less than $300, and they are always going to be connected. That just doesn't make sense. But attacks are obvious. There's a whole bunch of intrusion detection work out there, signatures written. We know what attacks look like, so why would we ever want to learn more? I think we know what attacks look like on a single vector. We know what a Bluetooth STP attack looks like. We know what a Wi-Fi malformed packet looks like, or a DAuth. But we don't know what it looks like when you combine all of them, and we don't have systems that correlate those events together. So, mobile devices attacks are unique in the fact that you could essentially combine all the elements of the radio. You could discover the Wi-Fi MAC address passively of an iPhone. Once you know that that address is incremental of the Bluetooth radio, which is in a non-discoverable mode, you could send a malformed packet to it, and then you could read the text from last night of someone. Also, there's been so much work done on fuzzing and fuzzing multiple different radios. It makes really evil things possible. The systems don't even need to be connected to the network, and you can send them malformed SSID packets and watch them fall over. So here's the bottom line up front, or in the middle of our presentation. We really don't know what's out there. We want to find out what's out there, and so we kind of built a system to start collecting mobile device attacks. And the rest of this presentation is about that system and about how you could do it yourself. And so we took a lot of lessons from the wired community and started building honeypots for mobile devices. Right. As a matter of this, we have to treat everything as the device as a whole. We have to examine all the vectors for the attack. We have to be able to figure out that an attacker is jamming the 3G frequency in order to force us on Wi-Fi. We need to know that the Wi-Fi address has been discovered and Bluetooth fuzzing has begun, and then a vulnerability has been discovered. And we need to be able to correlate all those events together. And so what types of things do we need to listen to? All the following could be essential in making an attack. You could send a false GPS signal to get the time off, and then correlate that with, or make that work with another attack. You could jam 3G and force someone onto Wi-Fi. You could jam Wi-Fi and force someone onto 3G. So, looking at mobile devices, we have to look at all the things that make them unique. Not just the radio communication vectors, but all the integrated browsers and applications and bundled software and third-party apps and homebrew apps. And homebrew apps are really awesome because there wasn't just a recent vulnerability in jailbroken iPhones where people left SSH on. So the things that make a Bluetooth radio unique: the registered OUI. It tells us not only who owns that device, but it may even tell us it's an iPhone, or it's an iPhone and its MAC address for its Wi-Fi radio is the following: the state of discoverability and what RF COM ports are open on it, and L2 cap ports, and what service discoveries it's broadcasting. So we started recording all this stuff for different devices. The same with Wi-Fi. We know what registered OAIs are again, if it's an increment. There's been a lot of great work done on wireless fingerprinting by the Dartmouth folks. TCP fingerprints. We have a lot of great TCP fingerprints for mobile devices as well. They're built into systems like P0F and Queso and banner grabs to identify devices. And what the actual mobile browser HTTP user agent looks like. Okay. Apps introduce a whole new realm of problems in emulating mobile devices. I mean, and really a whole new realm. A realm that we can't even begin to keep up with. So how do we emulate all of this while still inviting attacks and logging? What we built was just a system like this. Just off-the-shelf equipment, standard Artigo PC with some Bluetooth dongles and Wi-Fi dongles and GPS, and start reading all of that. Right. We used Python to glue a whole bunch of stuff together.